Well, hello all my friends and fellow Conan survivors out there. Welcome back to another informational Conan Exiles video. It's Andy here, back with you, just for another quick one. And as I did mention in my dungeon guide for, let me get this name right, I'll probably butcher it, but I'll try. Clayo's Stronghold, where we saw the arena champion, where you can learn that armour, and also the Godbreaker armour at the end. I did mention that I would shortly do a video talking about the gear that my Thralls were wearing that I mentioned in that video, why I had them wearing it, how they kind of started off at early to mid game, and what they're kind of in at end game, and why I choose the gear that I do. Obviously in that video I said I won't go into too much detail right now, I'll leave that for a little informational video, so here we are. Yeah, these two are both berserkers that are behind me that I'm using for examples, both at level 20. They are currently wearing the same appearance or illusionary appearance as I am. They've both got the Samoan Thief boots, another name the Gurnikai, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, waist guard which is for the legs. They have another name, Acheronian Illusionist I believe it is. Again for the chest piece, and they are using gold bracelets for the wrist pieces. Now you could use silver bracelets if you want, but I'm just using the gold. And what I've done is the one over my right shoulder, which would be your left, she's in what I would normally try and get them in at sort of early going into mid game, and then the one over my left shoulder, so your right, which says end game next to her, she's in what I actually put them in at end game. That's my personal preference, and I'll explain shortly the reasons of why they're in that particular thing, and the reasons sort of why I choose them, why I find it's best. So let's have a look. So as I said, this one is early to mid game. Reason why I use the illusionary system, which is obviously from your thaumaturgy bench, just ignore the gear in there. At the top there you place the item you want the stats from in that very top left box, so it would be that one, and then you want to put the matching chest piece or leg piece or whatever you're using in that box of what you want it to look like. Hit that button, it'll pop it in there, and then you can grab it out and place it on your throw, because otherwise if you're using different armor from different sets it just looks a bit crazy. So at least you can get some sort of cohesive, like nice looking full set that kind of goes together. Yeah, so if you take a look at our first Sumerian Berserker here, for the weapon, this isn't an early game weapon, but it can be, but she's just not using it, but she has the Tenderizer. They will both start, whenever you get a Berserker, they will start with a Star Metal two-handed sword. But if you go for the Yoga religion, you can craft the Tenderizer, which is a legendary mace, and you can craft that when your Yog Pit is at level 3. So as you can see there, it's just a one-handed mace, pretty much like a lot of the legendary maces that you can get in the game. It's pretty good, pretty effective, and that's just got a master weapon fitting on it, which again, as you saw in Clayo's Stronghold, you need to do to learn the Grandmaster recipes in there, so that you can put a blacksmith on the Tinker's bench to make your legendary weapon repair kits, and a legendary armourer to do your armour repair kits. Well, you saw those in the dungeon video, so we'll talk about those again, but that's where you do those. So then for her gear, she's wearing the Voidforged Dragon helmet. You can see down the left hand side that it's a legendary piece, it's heavy armour, and it gives her a plus 20 to her health, and you can see just about above that, sorry, the amount of armour she gets. Reason why I use this piece for the head is, even though a lot of high tier thralls like berserkers or named fighters or archers can come with a decent amount of health and can end up with a good amount of health once you've leveled them up, I just find giving them that little bit of a boost is actually pretty good. And that's just got the master armor plating, again from the stronghold I believe, that recipe. You could use bulk plating, or you could use the master one. both very similar, both made with oil and star metal bars if I'm correct. So that just boosts her health a teeny bit, as you can see with her stats there. The chest piece would be, as we can see on the left there again, the Hyperborean Slaver waist guard, which, even though it's a waist guard, it's actually the chest piece. That again is a heavy armour, and it would only be low numbers on it because it's literally it's not even the epic version, it's the regular version of that armour piece. Crafted on the improved armourer's bench. If you craft any armour that you do, ideally try and get yourself to your improved armourer's bench first, and like you can see here, if you can get yourself a named tier 4 armourer with the shield symbol, as you can see there, this crafter will allow you, when you make any armour, to make it with more armour value, so your armour values on each item will actually be even higher if you craft it with them. So as I say, that's the chest piece. We're also using, and it gives you strength weapon damage of +3. We're also using the Hyperborean gauntlets, which again is another heavy piece. Gives her another +3 to strength again. And then we're also using the Hyperborean slave loincloth. Again, it's all about boosting strength weapon damage because the tenderizer is a strength weapon. Sorry about the noise in the background there, if you guys pick that up. A very noisy vehicle going past. Yeah, so that is for that. And then we're using finally the Hyperborean Slaver boots, which again gives her another 3. So she's getting like 3, 6, 9, 12 points of strength weapon bonus just from that. Then if we go into her stats, you can see there she has a +29 to her strength weapon damage. And it can all revolve again around the perks that they get there. As you can see, she's got 43 in strength at the minute, and she's got some gruel on her, and she had a 90% growth chance in her strength, which was pretty good. Not great, but it was okay. And you see the vitality growth chance was actually higher, and she ended up with a +16, giving her 4,675 health. Now if she was in the epic versions of everything and it had all the plating on it, would actually be slightly higher than that. But same with pretty much any thrall that you would use. If you're using all of that in the low level, until you can learn Void Forge, which I'll show you again at the end of this video where you learn the Void Forge recipe, you could just stick any helmet that you find. Guardian is a craftable set if you've got the Numidian DLC, People of the Dragon, I think that one is. If you manage to find a Sumerian steel helmet or a Sumerian fur helmet, anything you can get really, stick that on them until you can learn the Void Forge Dragon set, which is at the sinkhole. I'll show you that before we finish. So that would take you through to mid-game pretty much. And then whilst you're at mid-game, heading towards end-game, what you would want to do, as I said, they come with star metal swords, but this is the Tell of Sorrow, which you get from completing the Blackkeep dungeon up in the snow. Take out the Kin Scourge, you take his heart, bring it back to your legendary blacksmith, ideally the Bladesmith I believe they're called, it's one with a little dagger symbol. Get them to craft this item for you, and again it's got the master weapon fitting on it, which just boosts the damage and armor pen. So it's a pretty good endgame weapon. That the star metal will do you fine that they come with when you first get hold of a berserker, but once you can upgrade to the Tell of Sorrow, I would say if you want them to have a two-hander, go for that one. Same again for her with the headpiece, the Void Forge. You definitely want this piece at endgame. Now the difference here is we've learned Void Forge, and we're also now using, as you can see there, the Void Forge Dragon Ribs, which is heavy armor again, and it's the chest piece. Well, this gives us a +5 to our strength weapon damage, and the difference with these pieces now compared to the Hyperborean, not just the fact that it's part of the Void Forge set, but also it's a legendary armor piece, so your values on armor or a lot higher. This is where now it gets a little bit interesting, because we're using Godbreaker grips, which is the recipes that you learn again at the end when you defeat the Warmaker, I believe he's called, which is the big guy all in black who, when you keep attacking him, he keeps growing. Not too tough, as you saw in the video I did. Hope you enjoyed that, by the way. If you did, very much appreciated. You get that from there, and as you also saw just before that final boss fight, the champion's leggings. Again, it's heavy armour, and it's giving us, only gives us the +3 in strength, but it's again a legendary armour piece, and you want to put either the bulk plating or the master plating, I think it's called, master armour plating, on everything, but we're still sticking with the Hyperborean Slaver boots, again for the strength weapon damage bonus and the heavy armour. And that is, even unofficial, that's what I'll be using on my Thralls once I can complete getting those pieces for them. I've actually got these on a server that I play on at the moment, which is a privately owned server, but it is open for anybody to join. Everything is actually kind of boosted on there a little bit. I think it's ×7 for most things, so it's a lot easier to get things that you need. NPCs take a little bit more damage. And there is actually a little bit of a cheese that you can do to learn the Arena Champion armour, who, believe it or not, even though the Arena Champion isn't the final boss in that dungeon, she's considered, as I'm sure many of you know by now, or new players won't realise this, but she's actually considered the hardest NPC boss in the game to defeat. But as I discovered the other day, going in there, and this is the server that I play on, you can actually sneak right past her, kill a couple of enemies that are around the corner where the recipe is, learn the recipe, sneak back out the same door where you came in, and as you saw in the dungeon video, there is a little gap in the wall where you can actually completely skip her. You could take her on if you want, but I would only do that if you're feeling very brave, if you're prepared to potentially die, even in good armour, because yes, she can one-shot you. She's very strong. And also be prepared to lose either one very good thrall you might have, or if you've got two good ones, to either lose one or possibly both of them, because she hits very hard, and I mean very hard. Yeah, but like I say, as you saw in the dungeon video, you can actually skip her and just go straight to the final fight, which is pretty helpful, and all she drops is a few armour scraps at the end anyway, so if you collect the rusted keys, as you saw I showed in the dungeon video, there are 4 rooms you can go into at the end before you kill the Warmaker, who also drops you a few scraps, so you've got a chance of farming a few scraps, armour scraps from in there, which the armour scraps you would need, I think you need it for the Champion's armour if I remember correctly, but you definitely need it for the Godbreaker armour, you would need those for that. Right, so that pretty much covers it. Lots of people use different things for their thralls, some keep them in full Sumerian steel, that gives them loads of health, that's fine. I have heard people do it where they've kept them in full Void Forge, but to me the reason why I don't keep mine in the full Void Forge is that even though it looks nice, is because the leg piece on the Void Forge Dragon, certainly on the heavy set, gives you stamina, which for you as a player is fine, but Thralls it's a waste of time. Because they don't suffer from stamina as players do, so it kind of be wasting your time putting it on there. You might as well give them an extra bit of health bonus or strength weapon bonus, and plus it gives them a bit more armour as well, to be honest. So that is what I use for mine. That is on an official server and also a private server, and also our own community server that we own, which I'll mention at the end of the video. If you want to join, you'd be more than welcome. It's a PvE server, so there's no PvP involved. Pretty chilled out. We have increased everything very slightly. I think it's ×5 hours. If you want something a bit different, that's not quite 10 times, but not quite the same as official, I'll give you the details at the end of the video. Right, so what I'll do now is I will head over to the sinkhole and I'll meet you there, and I'll show you where you learned the Void Forge Dragon recipe from. And then we'll, in God mode, because it's easy to do because I'm using Cloak and God mode for this video, purely for video purposes, because I won't be seen, I will nip into Clayl's stronghold, show you where you learn the Arena Champion armour from, and also where you get the master recipes and what have you at the end when you defeat the Warmaker. Alright, so I will meet you at the sinkhole in a second. Alrighty, so here we are at the sinkhole. I'm sure many of you veteran players know where we are right now, but just for any new player, if you don't know, we're just here, and it is pretty much north of the Sentinels on the river. You get your way up here, just up to near here, there you can see, quite near to us. Don't mind the Dancer and Berserkers just around here. This is actually on my private server that we own. That is actually open to the public, as I say, for people to join. We've got an elevator set up here and a dancer and a couple of fighters just for anyone who needs to go in here. So if you get any corruption you can get healed. There's just a couple of fighters protecting it. And there's a lift that will take you down. Now, there won't be a lift on regular servers, bear in mind this is just to help people out on our server. On official you'll either have to parkour it down here, which there is a certain way if you climb. Can't remember exactly where, but there is somewhere you can climb down into here if you've got enough stamina, maybe round onto that and then down there and onto there and work your way down. But otherwise, if you're on an unofficial server like these, where it's a privately owned one, some kind of person may have put you a lift in. So what you want to do is get yourself down on that elevator, and as you'll see the dragon's there in the middle, it's back to you. You want to click on this tablet here, and as you'll see there, that will teach you all the Voidforge recipes, so light, medium and heavy, and all the Voidforge weapons. So as you can see, we were on that side there, the lift is just there, and the dragon is right there. So that's the Voidforge recipe. We'll now head over to Thrall's stronghold and I'll show you where the others are. So I'll catch you in a second. Okay, so here we are inside Thrall's stronghold, which is just kind of north of Sepamaru, sort of slightly northeast. We've just come in through that door there, which is after you kill the little boss out there, you get the key to the arena off him, as you saw in the dungeon video. And as you can see back there, that's the arena champion, stood just back there behind me. Now I did recently discover, if you come in here, you have to jump over those spikes. Be very careful if your armour's not mega high grade, because they will skew you quite a bit. But if you're in something high, like Redeemed Legion, you should be pretty fine. They take a little bit of health off you, but yeah, I discovered if you run around here, obviously she's not going to see me, but I'll show you the way to go just so that you can tell. If you stick to here, that looks really close, but I did find if you sneak around this corner, you can actually avoid aggro. When you come around this corner, you will have this guy to deal with. Pretty easy, he's only an NPC, he's not a boss or anything. Possibly that one, but certainly one of them. And your recipe for the champion's armour is right here. So you would click on that, so you can either defeat the champion and then come around here and get this, or you can sneak around here and get this. Go back out and then fight her if you want to take her on. We won't obviously for this, but if you wanted to go back out, because you actually leave the other side once the gate opens. Once you start fighting her, obviously the gate will open the other side. See, they're still triggered, even though I'm cloaked. But if I wasn't, they would have hurt if I was in gold mode. So yeah, you would come back out here. These guys would all be dead. But if you look, if I pop a torch on a minute. If you come over here, you'll just see, as you saw me doing the dungeon video, just here. So kind of right where you kill this guy, or you may run down there, but just about here, so it's literally just before the arena door. So if you're going up to the arena and you don't even want to go in there full stop, if you're not even bothered about the champion's armor recipe, come into here, you will have to crouch, you duck down. I'll keep a torch on because it is a little bit dark in here. That will get you through. So you make your way through here, various enemies that you can have to fight, undead shellbacks, hyenas, spiders, etc. A couple of little mini bosses if you want to fight them. You can see a spider there. Don't mind the torch looking like it's floating. It's a bit weird why it does that, but yeah, make your way through all of these guys. They're not terribly tough. Oops. excuse my crazy little jumps. But then yeah, you'd come here. Bear in mind, once you enter here, you cannot leave. Turn the torch on just so you can get the atmosphere. Then yeah, just around the side there's one over there, and then two over this side. If you collected those chests just back at the rusted keys that you saw me do in the other video, you can open these doors. I don't think I can do them now, but no, you would open that door and there's a chest at the far end that will give you some armour scraps. There's that one there, so you can even get these before you trigger him. Same thing again. Another one there. There's two across the other side. Then you come to the middle. Take this guy out, 3 skull boss, but honestly with a decent thrall or 2 decent thralls they would easily tear him down, and he'll drop you some armor scraps as well. So that's the other door just there, as I say. That's that one. That's that one. Lots of traps around on the floor, spikes and things, so just watch out for those. That was that one. Just bear with me, I always get turned around in here. Should be behind him where he was. That one. That one. Is it because I'm in creative mode? Let me just try something here. That's strange. I'm sure they were usually there. Oh, sorry about this. Just give me a second. I'll find them and I'll get back to you. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what I was doing there. Running around my eyes shut, but as you can see, he's just there. With that very nice ambient light over him. And then straight opposite, door here, I ran right past it. You learn that one, and then there's one on this side. Make sure you learn both of these. If you're not sure if it's done it, there's never any harm in just pressing them both twice, and then you would exit out this door here. Oh, forgetting, can't fly now. So excuse me while I go back into creative mode. It's so much easier for these videos. You can run all the way down here. You saw me mention about the secret chests on the dungeon video, so we won't talk about those now. And then you come out the door, turn to your left, so it's gone very dark again. Now most likely, by the time you come back down here, I think this guy drops the same weapon every time, but acts as a gate guardian. Kill him again if he's respawned. That's if you want to do. Or you could just literally run past all of these, you don't have to necessarily fight them. Oops. And out the door you go. So we just wait for the load screen, which takes its time. There's the door, and it brings us out here. So yeah, like I did on the dungeon video, I'll finish it right here. So that is Clayle Stronghold, which on the map, for those who don't know, it's just here. Kind of slightly northeast of Seppa Maru, which is just all around here. But yeah, I wouldn't attempt this dungeon really until you've got some decent armour and a decent weapon. Because the enemies are quite tough, they're not terrible, but they're not the easiest. And until you've got, it doesn't even have to be a berserker or a named fighter, even if you've got a decent tier 3, like even a decent bearer for example, with decent armour, decent weapon again, and some good perks and health, you should get through it. A berserker is better, or a named fighter, and even if you're running the war party build, 2 followers, it's even better still. But yeah, that is just about it. So as I say, this was just a quick guide video again of explaining why I use the armour I do on the thralls that I use, why I like it, where to get it from. If I've missed anything out, do let me know in the comments down below. All comments and questions are greatly appreciated. If I'm not able to answer them, I can do my best to put in the direction of somebody who hopefully can. Do me a huge favour guys, like the video if you enjoyed it. Just ticks the old YouTube algorithm a little bit. Makes it think that this might be interesting for other people, because obviously, let's face it, the more likes means more views. More views means you guys get more videos from me. Pretty easy to do. Like I say, it's all free, and also if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you do find these kind of videos helpful, do consider subscribing. Again, totally free to do, just means you get to see the next video that I release on the channel. And there should now be a link on screen that if you missed my stronghold dungeon run, where we're kind of playing through it and I'm just talking about it and explaining bits as we go, link for that should be up on screen now. Go check that video out, and you'll see a playthrough of the dungeon, how it works. Well, alright then guys, thanks for checking it out. You all stay safe out there and have fun, and I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy guys, bye for now.